Are you familiar with Pokemon? Well, I'm sure you are. You know, Pokemon is probably... No, Pokemon is the most lucrative franchise in the world. So I bring you today a little something that tipped the edge. And I've been edging to this for a while, not because of its entries on Rule 34, which are staggeringly large, but because there's this new game called Palworld, which literally took the internet by storm. Palworld is so popular, it became the #1 played Steam game, all right? It's the #1 sold Steam game. Palworld is huge, and Palworld is just Pokemon, but with guns. I personally have a lot of incredibly nuanced takes to add to this entire scenario, which is why, we're not doing Smash or Pass Palworld, guys, all right? We're not doing that. We're not covering the Rule 34, even though Evanito literally texted me to do that because he's a furry. We're not doing any of that. Today we're talking about the many controversies of Palworld. I actually talked to Muda about this on the podcast. He was telling me about the whole weird AI rabbit hole bullshit and also the rabid Pokemon fans that are coming after Palworld. And I have opinions, and that is what we are doing today. It's the Nuxanor opinions on this stuff. Potentially cancelable, because before we even get into the nitty-gritty meat and potatoes, let me just say that I am a huge Pokemon fan. And to every single Pokemon fan that is out there just sitting there, smoking and coping, this is the best thing that could have happened to Pokemon. Because Pokemon has been letting everyone down for freaking years. Here you have Palworld ripping off the same goddamn concept as Pokemon, except adding some new things and some survival elements, and suddenly it's peak. Pokemon is a wasteland of ideas, remaking and shitting out the same game again and again and again and again. And it's so nice to get innovation on the concept that maybe Pokemon will actually decide to innovate instead of just being in their cushy lifestyle, releasing the new bullshit every time. That's my incredibly nuclear take that'll make Twitter explode, but let's see what we got.
Today we're looking at the actual controversies. Dude,
I love when Muda covers controversies. This man is so thorough. What a beautiful man. In spirit, of course, no homo.
This game steal from Nintendo. Is Nintendo gonna sue them?
Probably, but will they win? Probably not. And will Nintendo evolve? Hopefully, yes. Dude, all the weird Pokemon fans that are upset about Palworld's success, you guys are the reason why Pokemon is not improving. Incredibly hot nuclear take, but the people that are upset at Palworld for innovating a concept are the people that caused Pokemon to stagnate and die.
And God forbid is it doing something haram, like using artificial intelligence.
Oh, bro. Dude, the AI situation with Palworld is wild. Muda was telling me about it, and I was, like, losing my mind. Apparently, the whole team, the dev team that made Palworld, while Palworld is blowing up and is, like, the #1, like, game on Steam, the Palworld devs are just like, yo, AI is so cool.
To generate some of the art assets. Today, we're going to try to find the answers to these questions in an investigative report that I like to call the Controversies of Palworld.
Let's go, baby! With Palworld. Dude, I love Muda so much. Man makes such great content.
Basically patting itself on the back and telling us that it sold 4 million copies in only 3 days.
That is insane, by the way. And what's hilarious is it's just a Pokemon knockoff. Like, do you realize how massive Pokemon could be if they actually innovated? What's so insane about Pokemon is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold the most. It was the highest selling Pokemon game, even though it was just a reskin of the last one. And the one before that and the one before that. They have not innovated since Red and Blue. They've only dumbed it down, and it's still absolutely killing it.
They sold 4 million copies of a game that's also available for free on Game Pass, okay? Momentum has increased since yesterday, with the latest sales at 86,000 units per hour, okay?
Bro, that's crazy.
So that's a lot of units sold, okay? That's a lot of copies of a game that kind of dropped seemingly out of nowhere and sold a lot.
Yeah, this is like an indie game. Like, this had, like, what, a $10,000 budget and actually making it? It's insane.
In fact, it didn't just sell a lot. Right now, in the dead of night, 3 in the morning, witching hour, it's getting 800...
Average Mudar recording time, 3 in the morning. Let's go, let's go.
96,000 people playing right now. In fact, looking at...
That's insane. Oh, my God.
The Steam charts itself, it's actually beat the... Well, it didn't beat the all-time peak of Counter-Strike, but a 24-hour peak, it did beat.
That's wild.
See, Palworld is one of the...
Bro, it beat the 24-hour peak of all this shit. That's nutty!
Counter-Strike, but a 24-hour peak, it did beat. See, Palworld is one of the top 10 games in Steam's all-time history that's actually like breaking like records. So if you want to compare it, ladies and gentlemen, it's beaten Baldur's Gate 3. It hasn't beaten Dota 2, slightly just under it. We're talking a few thousand players. And of course, PUBG remains the champion by a large margin of the all-time Steam peak. Palworld really seemingly come out of nowhere. And I say seemingly because obviously...
there was obviously a development stage to this. No one actually expected it to succeed to the level that it did.
As you know, in the last several years, survival games have taken off, okay? Survival games are still an era of, or an aspect of gaming, or a genre of gaming that millions of people love to play, okay?
Yeah.
You put a podcast on the side, you sit down, and you play a game with your brain turned off for hours on end.
Dude knows exactly what this meta is. If you ever need to research incredibly boring situations that involves just watching tons of live streams, exposing Nuxanor practices, this is how you get through all the live streams on the Mama Max drama. Okay? Mama Max situation happens. Leviathans are coming for you. And you're like, okay, what's actually going on? You need to sit through like 6 hours of live streams. Dude, this is a lifesaver. A literal lifesaver.
And you just progress by building a cabin, then a mansion, then a crack mansion. You know, you might tame a few dinosaurs or monsters, upgrade your weapon.
Dude, and then you know what's the level above crack mansion? So, there's stable, then there's house, mansion, crack mansion, Oompavil's house. Yeah, that's basically the order of things in building in video games. That's just real.
Piecemeal at a time. There are so many types of these games that exist, and the gameplay loops that they provide, if they are fed well, if they are done right, can keep people playing for hours on end, okay?
Yeah, there's something so nice about a video game that just lets you kind of, where you're doing this and something else is going on in the background, just something tedious that you need to listen to, or something you want to listen to but doesn't exactly have a visual component. This is fire. The endless survival games. And the crazy thing is, this is exactly what people wanted Pokemon to be for the longest time. Like, I said this on the podcast that's not out yet, but dude, do you realize the beauty of Pokemon is that everyone wants to live in a Pokemon world. Cringe as that sounds. That's why you fell in love with Pokemon as a kid. It was like some sort of escapist fantasy that you just kind of wanted to live in a Pokemon world, to survive there, to build a house, to build your fucking Pokemon team, to make them stronger, to fight, to become infamous in your server, in your area, and just to live in that world. That is the strongest selling point of Pokemon. And that is something that Pokemon never, ever, ever, ever gave you. It's so mind-blowing and mind-numbingly stupid that it just makes me so and people want to sex the mons. Okay, chat, we're listen, that's for a different type of adventure survival scenario.
People literally come home from working their job to play another job. And this isn't new. We've been doing this since the days of Shenmue, okay? Whether we be working forklifts or flying through the galaxies in No Man's Sky, survival games ain't going anywhere. But with Pokemon, as you all know, has gotten such a negative rap.
God, please shit on Pokemon a little bit, please, please. See, it's so rough for me. I love Pokemon. You don't understand. I'll boot up the Pokemon Go every once in a while. I'll Pokemon Go to the polls, if you know what I mean. And I love it so much. It's such a, enthralling world, and it's never been fleshed out in any official capacity.
That we have come to basically making fun of this franchise.
Yes, sir.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are typically hated by the grand majority of people that like to rip on them, at least if you watch it on YouTube, right?
Yeah. It's insane how there's so much, Pokemon content on YouTube. There are the videos that shit on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then there are the people that are replaying Emerald with mods or whatever. Can you explain to me why Pokemon Emerald still gets more views than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Well, because it's an entire audience thriving off nostalgia and community, not innovation.
A lot of people, me included, that call Game Freak out on their laziness, okay? The fact that this game comes out on the same piece of hardware that Tears of the Kingdom, Xenoblade, Shin Megami Tensei 5 exist. Yeah, this is the same platform that has all of those games and still sits with a dud we call Pokemon Scarlet.
Dude, just look at Zelda, how Zelda innovates. Every single Zelda game is so much grander and more awesome than the last. Then Pokemon is just a reskin of the last one with more glitches, artifacts, and slightly better graphics.
But see, Nintendo doesn't actually care about that, because for every single person shitting on it on the internet, I'm just going to show you the sales quote of Pokemon.
Yep, there it is.
The company Scarlet and Violet are the most pre-ordered titles in the series history. So that alone should tell you it doesn't matter how many copies of Palworld is sold. Pokemon is still the king. And of course, within 3 days of its release, the game has sold over 10 million copies worldwide. The sales figure was the highest of any software on any Nintendo platform within 3 days.
It's crazy. They literally found the holy grail of games, okay? Literally, the holy grail of video games is just reskinning Pokemon again and again. And it's like, and we're not going to let you innovate. We're not going to let you change anything. We're going to let these guys out there that just want to fuck more Pokemon. We'll let them pay for this game. And it's going to be great. We've seen the Rule 34. We know how good the advertising is. We don't even need to advertise this. It advertises itself. Oh my god, dude. And it's so successful, and they have no incentive to change because every game is more successful than the last. By every single one of their metrics, they're doing a great freaking job.
So yes, by September 2023, the game has sold 23.23 million copies.
God damn.
So to give you a quick idea here, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how much you make fun of Game Freak, in Nintendo's eyes, they are worth more than the guys that develop Zelda, Xenoblade, fucking Mario, any of their IPs. Pokemon is still printing yen, dollars, bahts, euros, whatever currency you can imagine, okay? So Palworld
they're making insano dollars, and of course they have no incentive to change. That's of course they have no incentive to change.
Isn't really infringing on Nintendo. But there have been a lot of people who have basically called out Palworld for its rather, I guess you could say, plagiarized asset.
Dude, I love the Palworld controversy so much. Oh god. Okay, listen, guys, the Palworld controversy is hilarious and funny and awesome, and I am a huge fan because simply speaking, it's the idiots that keep Pokemon afloat while failing that are hating on Palworld. It's the people that are so stinky in their bedrooms, living in their fantasy world. Little la fantasy land that Pokemon is amazing and still making great games.
So we're gonna look at the definition of plagiarism.
Oh,
plagiarism is a representation of another person's language, thoughts, ideas, or expressions as one's own original work. And again, if we look at copyright infringement, which I think more so applies to...
The real reason why people use the word plagiarism instead of copyright infringement is because everyone freaking loves copyright infringement, but plagiarism's bad.
Copyright infringement occurs when a person uses content protected by copyright in a way that violates rights granted in the Copyright Act. Now, to understand, there's been a few people who've said, I can't wait for the Nintendo lawsuit to come in. And here's the thing. Palworld,
it's insane how many people hate this game. I've seen so many videos. I haven't watched most of them. But so many people are uploading videos about how Palworld is getting just wild Twitter hate. Just because these Twitter brainlets hate the fact that that Pokemon fucking sucks. And they're not willing to internalize or remind them that Pokemon has been screwing up lately, so they instead turn their hate towards Palworld instead of hating something that legitimately deserves that criticism.
For anybody following the development of this game, it was actually announced 2 years ago. In fact, specifically June 5th, 2021 is when the announced trailer had actually dropped.
Hey.
And I watched this announced trailer, and without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of the actual designs of the actual, pals do exist in this original release.
Yeah, and they look a lot like Pokemon. Like, you're gonna say this doesn't look at all like Lycanroc. It does. It pays homage to Lycanroc. What do you mean?
However, what I also see in this original release is some of these cool animations that I don't actually see in the final build of the game. It actually seems like this stuff never actually made it. But if you look closely, you can see that these sheeps, actually a lot of the mons that are actually in Palworld do seem to exist in this situation. And their concept of Pokemon with guns is still very much alive here.
Yeah, because realistically, a lot of them do look very, very much like Pokemon. I just think that it's also incredibly different, right? It's like... Dude, I saw people like doing the Lycanroc shtick with this little doggo. Bro, it's like, wow, bro, I cannot believe you would steal wolves from Pokemon. Pokemon owns wolves. Don't you know that Pokemon owns wolves? They invented wolves, guys. God, and then there's gonna be like a little keychain pal, and they're like, wow, can you believe Pokemon invented keychains?
These designs were shown years ago. And Nintendo,
it's like, wow, I cannot believe they would just
these
rip
designs...
off Flareon with a fox on fire. Wow. I'm sorry I'm being annoying. I just fully embrace and believe this idea that Pokemon needs to do freaking better.
And Nintendo did not give a flying hoot about it. So here's some of the most egregious examples of, I guess you could say, copyrighted or Pokemon.
Dude, I love how smug he looks. It's like, all right, here's the most egregious examples. However, I don't give a fuck about any of this. And Palworld is awesome, and you suck. You know that's what's coming.
That are a little bit too close to the actual Game Freak variant. This is,
It looks like Wooloo. It looks like Wooloo. Bro, it's a sheep. It's a little animated sheep. Remember when Pokemon invented sheep?
Lamball, one of the first mons you find in Palworld. And of course, if you compare this a little bit with Wooloo, you might notice, whoa, hot damn, that's a bit too similar than I would expect. I mean, it's got the same poofball style.
Bro, it's a sheep. I'm sorry. Okay, I do see the similarity. I obviously do, but still, come on, Wade.
It's missing the buttons here compared to, like, Lamball.
And also, this is standing on 2 legs, and its hands are popping out, unlike Wooloo. Of course,
if we look at the horns over here.
Wooloo is on 4 legs. Wooloo has these thingos. Wooloo has a more sheep-shaped face. The point is, they're both based off sheep.
Here, yeah, the horns are there. Slightly different color. I don't know if that might be the lighting. Actually, it is a different color.
It's a different color. These are gold.
The ears, which are, you know, sort of aiming to the side. You got ears that are kind of aiming to the...
Sheep have ears aiming to the side.
But of course, you're missing the actual dreadlocks.
Also, I think Wooloo's like, it's a Gen 8 Pokemon, right? I think this Palworld design was very likely made first.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that it's probably an inspired asset.
Realistically, the whole Palworld is inspired off the idea of Pokemon.
You know, for copyright infringement, these things typically have to be one-to-one, and there are, I guess, enough differences that appear where this isn't going to be taken to court. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but again, this is not a exact one-to-one rip.
Yeah, it definitely isn't a one-to-one rip. I think they're also both, you know, inspired by sheep. And you know Nintendo wants to sue them so badly. Dude, I really appreciate that Muda takes, like, an actual look at it, talks about it from his understanding of a legal perspective, and also, like, he's so unbiased in his coverage so far, while I've just been... been clowning on the Twitter freaks that have been hating on it. Okay, I guess that's the major difference in our content. I'm a clown.
Not to say that it isn't, you know, very inspired. So, of course, this, ladies and gentlemen, right here is Dire Howl. Now, this looks suspiciously close to Lycanroc. Now, again, I'm just kind of like, you know, putting it out there.
Please say that they're just both fucking wolves and Pokemon doesn't own wolves.
These are wolves at the end of the day. Wolf-type Pokemon. Yes. And last I checked, wolves look pretty similar to one another, okay?
Yes! Man's preaching. Man is so right. In before Balto Wolf Quest decides to copyright Pokemon for stealing wolves.
Today, it's a wolf Pokemon, right? I don't think you can draw a wolf that differently. Now, again, is it one-to-one? Obviously not.
Obviously, there are styles and characters that you can draw differently. Like, you could definitely draw some wolves differently. Like, there's the furry wolf, and then there's the... Okay, let's not get into this.
This is where it gets really egregious, though, okay? So the examples I showed you so far, you know, they had their differences. But, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is Anubis, okay? Quite literally...
Is this supposed to look like Lucario or something? Because it doesn't.
It is Anubis. That is the Palworld equivalent of it. Don't believe me? Palworld Anubis. That's literally what it's called. I'm not even joking with you.
Wow, can you believe Palworld would rip off an Egyptian god of the dead? Oh my god, they plagiarized from Egyptian mythology? Did Palworld just copyright infringe on the ancient Egyptians?
Dude, that's the actual name. They didn't even change it. Now, Anubis is an Egyptian god, and if you know anything about ancient Egyptian
with the wolf head, the dog head, and
gods, you could probably see, oh shit, I can see why this is Anubis. You got that kind of design going on.
Scheme.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a Pokemon aficionado, you probably know I'm about to show you Lucario.
Dude, they don't look the same. What are you talking about? Oh, Lord, I knew he was going to show us Lucario. First of all, just saying, I wonder if Anubis, much like Lucario, is the most prolific Palworld pal on Rule 34. If so, that would be just telling you so many things, but they're not the same. It's just like, oh, hey, anthropomorphic dog creature. These are so different, not just on a basic color scheme level, but I guess the shape is similar, the shape of the face. This is the most egregious example.
Now, if you're a Pokemon aficionado, you probably know I'm about to show you Lucario, which, from what I understand, is also based on Anubis, okay? Lucario is a Canid-like Pokemon, partly based on Anubis. Now look, there are similarities here, but unless we're going to start digging up the...
This is what Anubis just looks like. If you just look at Anubis animated, this is like a pretty one-to-one thing to just Anubis. You can't say that he's ripping off Lucario when, Lucario just kind of looks exactly like Anubis.
Egypt and start, taking this to court between, ancient Egypt and modern-day civilizations like ours. I don't think anybody's going to be testing it. But again, clearly you could see that this is the Lucario version, or at least what's the closest to it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being... Okay, that looks exactly like Leafeon. Oh, frick. Okay.
Now, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is Lifmunk from Palworld. And if you look at it, obviously this is kind of similar to...
I think this is probably the most similar. But again, it is similar. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, Leaf Dog isn't exactly the most original concept in the universe.
Leafeon. Again, there are still some differences. This kind of looks like a Pikachu. What is the...
Cracked out Leafeon. This is just Leafeon after watching 2 episodes of Adventure Time.
What is the smaller version?
Pichu?
The Pichu / Leafeon version, okay? So there's definitely some aspects I would say...
And they put a red gem, so different... Sorry.
There's some inspiration.
Let's be honest here. Saying that Palworld isn't inspired by Pokemon is the ultimate cope in the other direction. Saying that it's a complete rip-off and doesn't deserve any success, that is a complete cope in the other direction. I think that just saying that it's similar is fine. But then again, this is coming from me. The guy that thinks that copyright is a fossil of a law and that copyright needs to change ASAP.
Seems from some Pokemon fused together. Now look, these are just some similarities I found. Other users on the internet were quick to find that apparently fake or fan-made Pokemon may have been ripped directly.
Yo, I believe that completely. Oh my god, dude, they just ripped off fan-made Pokemon for this game. Yo, that's crazy. Oh my god.
Now this is more egregious than anything Game Freak had too. This account by Barbie Elite actually showed the one Mon in Palworld Arsox, and then they compared it to, I shit you not, this is a Pokemon known as Flareeze from a fan game known as Pokemon Sage, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So
that's pretty egregious, I'm not gonna lie. But see, here's the thing, I think a lot of people feel like they can get away with shit. But also, it's I love when people say, I can't believe you're ripping off Pokemon designs. It's I can't believe you're here just to rip off Pokemon designs. I can't believe you would rip off Pokemon designs like that. Meanwhile, Pokemon designs in 2024 would be like, oh yes, this is Flamigo. Listen, it's not at all similar to flamingos. I don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people think that this is similar to flamingos, but no, this is Flamigo. This is a totally different thing. It's like a flamingo, but also an amigo at the same time. If you even dare draw a picture of a flamingo, we will copyright strike you.
Both these Pokemon, or both these monsters, you can see that there's definitely more similarities here than anything Game Freak might have brought on. Again, if you squint...
I think it looks...
It might even appear to be the same exact goddamn monster. So, yes, there's definitely inspirations being taken on development of this game.
Whoever drew that, obviously isn't being paid for their art being in a massive game like this. That art was basically just kind of stolen. And that's a shitty move for sure. But at the same time, they had no legal grounds to make this fan Pokemon to begin with. Like, if you really want to get down to the weeds of copyright, that doesn't make it okay necessarily, but like, it's scummy. Art theft sucks, and a lot of people do it by accident, but this one doesn't look like an accident.
And whether you want to get into the plagiarism argument or the copyright infringement, those are all for courts to decide.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I don't think
Base
Nintendo
Buddha.
or really any company are taking these people to court.
Oh yeah, because they probably can't.
That's one of the first glaring bits of controversy that have come out. And look, at the end of the day, there's plenty of monster capturing games out there. You can go into the Digimon franchise. You can go into, I would say, Shin Megami in a way. Shin Megami Tensei is kind of like a monster capturing type of game. And you might decide to jump into that franchise. And there's plenty of these types of games that exist. Even on Steam, games like Cassette Beasts exist, which if you're into monster capturing type games, Pokemon type stuff, they exist beyond just Palworld.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Palworld just happens to capitalize on that whole survival aspect, that survival game, the art fic.
That's exactly what you need. Dude, you need a survival game where you could live with the Pokemon you want to be fucking. I've seen you degenerates on the internet. I know exactly why you want a survival game with Pokemon. But, like, let's not make believe this is a new concept. It's just executed in a modern format. Like, it's the oldest concept in the world. In fact, I believe that was the escapism aspect that so many people had when they fell in love with Pokemon as a kid, right? When you fell in love with Pokemon in Emerald, you didn't daydream in freaking elementary school about living in a Pokemon world? You probably did! And you were never able to, because Game Freak decided to never ever innovate on that style.
The Pokemon fix that people have been craving for. But
You do realize Pixelmon, like the Minecraft Pokemon thing, that success is also a glaring case of the failure of Pokemon.
that towards the end. So the next big allegation here, beyond just plagiarism or, copyright infringement,
baby,
right,
we getting in the AI stuff.
is the actual allegation of artificial intelligence. Now, for anybody that knows, AI, generative AI, in the world of art is kind of a taboo thing. A lot of people believe that AI, generative or whatever, computer artificial intelligence will take away jobs from, hardworking artists that exist.
And to be honest, it probably will. Thus is innovation. And I feel bad for artists. I really do. But listen, if it could be done in an ethical fashion where the AI isn't stealing from the artists to generate their images, it's a tool like anything else. And it sucks, but that's life. Do you know how many seamstresses lost their jobs when they came up with sewing machines?
Now, look, I get that sentiment. I feel it 100%. But at the same time, a lot of companies are pushing for AI, and these tech companies,
They're pushing for AI because they don't want to need to pay employees. I wish that AI could find a way to do what they do without stealing from artists. I think that is the unethical side of it, because so many different AI softwares they generate their art based on the art pieces of so many artists. So they're basically taking other people's art for free and morphing it into something else that you have a hard time actually knowing where it came from. So basically, you're taking all the artists' past work into your history and all that, and that sucks. But if they can find a way to not do that, then it's just a tool.
big organizations are going to get their sway. They are going to get what they want. With things like ChatGPT, with things like the DALL-E image engine, there's going to be lots of AI, and it consistently gets better over time. Trying to stop it, in my opinion, is one of those things that is a waste of time. What should be done is actually focusing on laws that are centered around making sure the people who these AIs train off of are protected legally. Okay.
Dude knows what he's talking about. Guy is on the mark. Oh my god.
Okay, that's where I think the focus should be. You can't ever stop AI. It's the genie in the bottle that has jumped out, okay?
Yeah.
And honestly, all you can do is regulate at least how it trains and the type of data it takes, and trying to provide the people that it learns from some form of compensation, which I think is about the most fair thing imaginable. Look, we can have the AI art debate all day, every day, but it's not really going to get us anywhere that we haven't really discussed at all, even on this channel. So one of the
I think a lot of people don't like living in reality. People like saying that, I hate AI, and therefore it is bad, and therefore the end. When realistically, that's not a very productive take to be having, because AI is gonna exist whether you like it or not. AI art generation is gonna become popular and mainstream, whether you like it or not. No matter how many times people in the past have protested that some innovation is taking away their jobs, that tractors caused farmers to lose their jobs, just like the farmers had the uprising and complained, it didn't stop them from developing for fucking tractors. That's sort of the world we live in. Our job should be focused on making it done in the most, ethical and productive way possible, so that artists don't lose as much as they ultimately will from AI. That's the only thing you can do. Yes, artists will take a hit because AI is a thing, and that's life, and it sucks, but unfortunately that's just what's gonna happen.
Like post that I saw was Palworld 6.
Just like you have these AI VTubers that are popular, and yes, the VTuber industry is shaking, and other VTubers are gonna. AI art can make you a Verbalace porn for less than $50,000.
Success is proof that despite protestations, most people will cave and use an AI product because of some loophole. It's fun. It doesn't feel like AI. It'll be a sad day when this happens on a wide scale for other creative endeavors, books, music, art. It sucks. Now, I understand the sentiment over here, but it's so insane to see 8,000 likes and not a single shred of proof that AI has actually been used.
You don't need proof on Twitter. You do not need proof. Everyone on Twitter is like that hates on Mama Max. These guys are all just Mama Maxes. They're just shitting out allegations with no evidence and getting, their likes. Bro, you don't understand. I just open up Twitter one day, doing nothing, sitting on the toilet, and the first tweet that pops out at me is, wow, this Nux guy is a pedophile. I'm telling you, it shook me to my core. No evidence, no actual allegations, just saying shit. And it has, 10, 20, 30,000 likes. I mean, obviously there's no actual evidence because, well, it didn't happen. You can't prove something that doesn't exist. But the point is, it's crazy. It's crazy you could just lie on the internet.
Used in this situation. So I decided to look at the actual history of this developer and see if AI was used or not. So fact of the matter, the company that designed Palworld is known as Pocketpair. They've made other games. So we're going to look at each and every single one of them, and we're going to see just how unique this game company is. So if you look at Nevergrave, for instance, Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse, if you actually scroll down and look at just the gameplay,
that's a really cute art style
for it.
Okay, that's just Hollow Knight. Oh my god, what? This is just reskinned, modded Hollow Knight. There's no way.
You might notice, oh damn, Muda, that looks a lot like Hollow Knight. I mean, shot for shot, if you squint your eyes a little bit, it is very inspired by Hollow Knight. Their other big game is Craftopia, which is the open world survival crafting game. And by far, this might be the worst.
Oh my god, don't tell me. This is just a Zelda ripoff. I cannot believe it.
Actual example. This might be worse than anything Palworld's done. If Nintendo isn't suing them for effectively creating the Unity asset flip version of Breath of the Wild, at least from this introduction cutscene. I haven't even seen this since I played this game, I would say a year ago before any of this was introduced.
Oh my god.
This is pretty bad. It's a game with fishing, dungeoneering, vehicles, and whatnot. It's, again, just a crafting game with a very heavy inspiration from Breath of the Wild and Tears.
Wait, so this whole gaming company is just taking famous IPs, famous video games, and just remaking them with like tiny little details. It's like, have you always wanted to play Hollow Knight, but you're a waifu instead of a bug? Not a lot of bug fuckers out here that we want that are gonna be attracted to our characters. Well, we've changed that.
So again, if you look even more, one of their games is AI Art Imposter. And this is where they actually brazenly showcase that they use artificial intelligence within it. So AI Art Imposter is a quick $7 video game where it literally is them actually using artificial intelligence.
That's the most legitimate possible way to use AI art. They are announcing that it's AI art. They are saying that we're going to show you two pictures. One was drawn by a human, one was drawn by AI. Can you tell the difference? I think that's probably the best way to use AI art.
This is the only game where they actually use generative artificial intelligence in order to facilitate their game. It very much is them admitting that they are using AIs in their title. Now, is it a great game? I personally haven't jumped into it. I personally don't care too much about it. But this is a key example of one of...
Dude, the AI art game was their most original game. That's hilarious. There's no way. That is too ironic.
...their games actually using AI generative art. And they've fully admitted that this game does use it. It's not that they're hiding it or anything. So if they're so brazen about admitting it for one of their titles, they should pretty much be honest about admitting it for every other title that they put it into.
It's a good logic.
And it's not even like...
I mean, I guess the flaw with that logic is that this one, the theme of the game is guess the AI art, right? So they don't want to... So for that, they have to talk about it because it's literally the whole gimmick for the game. In these, it's not, and they know that AI has like a very negative reputation among the art sphere for, you know, very logical reasons. So they might not want to mention it. So saying that just because they mention it in one of their games, therefore they would mention it in their other games, it's a bit of a leap in logic, I guess. It's not so solid for me.
CEO of this company is against talking about how much they jerk off AI. So there's actually a couple tweets from them that are a bit eye-opening.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. I know where this is going.
So back around in March of 2023, literally Takuro Mizobi, who is literally the founder of Palworld, or this company, the game company behind them, and also a company known as Coincheck, which we'll get to in a bit. Takuro actually says...
Dude, I like that Muda actually researches stuff before he makes claims and he doesn't just regurgitate controversies. He's not just being here and be like, there is a controversy about AI art. AI art is bad. AI art is shit. Wow, that would be pretty disgusting if that was true. He actually researches it. He looks into it himself. Dude, this is why Mudahar is a fantastic goddamn content creator, and you should all go to Some Ordinary Gamers right now.
Pocketpair, the result of introducing AI to improve business efficiency. Employees started to hand over all of their work to AI, but the quality was so high that they were disappointed.
True, because if you're making a game where people are supposed to spot the differences, if the quality's too high, it kills the game. Because you can't tell the differences, no.
So yeah, this person enjoys AI. They believe this is actually a future. And again, here even discussing that they're having so much fun creating crazy artificial intelligence that they're not even making any progress at all. This person loves AI, okay? And this is a very important thing for them and their company.
Yeah.
So again, I decided to look more into who Takuro was, and I wanted to see like what other companies that he was running. And one of them was Coincheck.
Oh, now, that's not good. Anything with coin in the name is not good. It's not good.
For those of you who don't know Coincheck, I believe this is their website. Own your first cryptocurrency on Coincheck.
No.
This is an exchange platform that is, again...
I don't know if I should say this out loud, but I was offered a very, very legitimate signing sponsorship deal where they offered to pay me in crypto, and I was like, no! No! No, what? You want to pay me in crypto? Not need the frick.
Ordered in Japan at the moment. Now again, what it appears to be is Coincheck is one of the companies that Takuro was like originally one of the founders on. They don't actually list him as a founder in their very recent like Wikipedia entry. And again, going to their website, I can't actually navigate and translate it properly, so I can't confirm if Takuro is exactly with the company as of now. But looking at Coincheck, they're basically a wallet and exchange service. And if you actually look down over here, they apparently have partnered with some pretty big names.
Tokenizes real estate and sells the tokens directly. Oh my god, it tokenizes real estate. It's just another metaverse. Dude, they have to stop, please.
Chinese, Hong Kong, and Taiwanese investors to start buying actual Japanese real estate with Bitcoin. Then they also have a hacking incident.
I thought they were tokenizing it like they were making a metaverse, not that they were buying real estate with Bitcoin. That's crazy.
In 2018, Coincheck was hacked for approximately 500 million NEM tokens, which equates to $530 million.
I love how everyone talks about how, can I just say that people talk about cryptocurrency like it's the future because it can't be stolen. You have your money on the blockchain. You'll be safe forever. Yeah, all right, dude.
What? Hold on a minute. That's a whole. I gotta write that video idea down. That's crazy. $500 million stolen.
Dude, Moon is just. He's like, oh my god, now this is a story. This is a rabbit hole I can don't go down. Just waiting for the next YouTube video title, $530 million scam, you know? God damn, the future is beautiful, eh? All right, now on goes the tinfoil Nux thinking cap. You ready for a conspiracy theory? These $530 million weren't actually stolen. They were pocketed by someone in the company. They claimed they were stolen and they didn't have to pay taxes on them. But that's just a theory. A Nugs theory.
That is insane. We got to look into that one, but that's for a later date. The currency was transferred through a total of 19...
Dude, I love how his eyes light up. Muda's eye, every time he sees like financial fraud, he's like,
one of which was found to have no connection with the hackers. The hack led two of Japan's cryptocurrency trade groups to merge into a new self-regulatory agency. You know when you fuck up so bad that they got to start making self-reg organizations just to make sure that this doesn't happen again, which is true. That should happen 100% of the time. But Jesus Christ, I'm still shocked by $530 million being stolen. Coincheck suspended trading temporarily and reimbursed its customers for their losses. Okay, that's actually great. But I still want to know how $500 million got stolen. But that's not the
He's
point.
like, I am on this financial fraud and you will not turn me away. It has hit the Muda radar and it will never leave.
Point of today's video. So looking at Pocketpair's website, I looked at their CEO. Again, this is Takuro Mizobe. And again, yes, 2014, they founded that company, Coincheck. They also founded Pocketpair a year later.
This guy is a businessman. Holy shit. This guy is like a wild entrepreneur. That's crazy.
But see, if you look at their history, they're like joining JP Morgan Securities. Like this person seems like a fintech bro, somebody into AI, into things like cryptocurrency. And now they're spearheading game design, game development. Which,
that's wild.
Again, leads people to insinuate that maybe there's generative AI being used in Palworld.
That's not too much of a leap of logic, especially when logic, as it is, isn't needed to have allegations on social media.
But there's no definitive proof one way or the other. So again, they started off with DS development at a Nintendo game seminar back in 2010. And this is when I dug even further into a Wired Japan article when they actually went and started discussing with him. And there was actually a quote that, I shit you not, is going to blow your mind.
Oh, no, dude. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Oh, no, not the... Oh, Muda, you dug too deep. You went too far.
This is by John Cartwright, who actually translated and mentioned this out. I've always loved Nintendo games, and that hasn't changed.
I love them so much, I decided to remake them myself with slight twists. Oh, no.
I also deeply respect them. However, when it comes to making games, Nintendo has a strong philosophy of creating new and unique games with high quality.
Dude, no. Nintendo has this thing where they don't like when you just, remake other games in your own image.
And this was questioned at the Nintendo Game Seminar. What? What, isn't that what you want? You want new and unique? That's what, listen, as much as I shit on...
Yeah, of course it was questioned in the Nintendo Game Seminar. What? You want to make Pokemon Scarlet unique? Why? We could just make it Pokemon Sword and Shield too.
Nintendo, I love when they make unique, genre-defining games,
Yeah,
okay?
same.
Nintendo makes high-quality slop,
They do.
It is good slop. Let's not
Sometimes.
pretend otherwise. On the other hand, I have a deep-rooted desire for my work to be enjoyed by as many people as possible. And to that end, if there are good ideas in the world, I pick them up.
Oh, well.
And I don't necessarily have to be particular about originality. I'm thinking about it. I want to make it more casually, or rather, I want to make it more casually. I think it would be a good idea to create things in a way that just jumps on what is trendy, LOL.
Yes, you want to make your game played by a lot of people. Yes, good ideas in the world are being... No one in the world thinks that Palworld wasn't inspired by Pokemon. Saying that, yes, I think Palworld was, it's an original concept that was not inspired by anyone. Those people are brain dead too. Like, without a doubt. Whoever thinks that is actually demented.
So, yeah, this guy doesn't really want to create things that are new and unique. Right. And it kind of shows for a lot of the games in their list. Look, whether you look...
Yeah, all their games are from heavily inspired to potentially just straight up ripping off other games. But that said and done, I'm not going to be that guy that says I'm upset about it.
Topia, whether you look at Hollow Knight Electric Boogaloo, and whether you look at Palworld, clearly they are taking inspirations from well-crafted ideas, well-established franchises, like Pokemon, for instance, like Monster Hunter, like Ark Survival Evolved. They are taking the best bits and pieces and putting it together for the ultimate Steam slop. Okay?
That's how innovation happens, too. Like, if you think about it, Try Not to Laugh challenge was something that existed on YouTube for the longest fucking time, all right? And people kept innovating that concept from try not to laugh to you laugh, you lose, to if I laugh, the video ends, to if I laugh, I get electric shock, to if I laugh, I have to give a $10,000 to charity. That concept of try not to laugh challenge has evolved so much, it's become something that kind of looks different, even though in all honesty, it's just kind of a ripoff off the same concept. That is how innovation happens. You would not get electric cars today if cars didn't exist before. If people never rode horses, then cars would have never been invented to outspeed them. It's like, wow, you completely made horses useless. Yes, yes you did, by making cars. Congratulations.
Okay, that's effectively what we've got going on over here. So again, is this all generative artificial intelligence? Have they been using AI to produce this game?
As far as we know, we don't.
Actual evidence to that allegation, ladies and gentlemen. And look, when I think about AI, this is like what I guess some people are saying. It's like generate me an electric Pokemon.
Oh God.
That looks. Generate me an electric Pokemon. There it is. All right. Boom.
That's pretty basic.
You can just ask Bing to produce this for you, and it's going to create a quick image. So let's let Bing cook for a minute. Then here it is, boys. Bing is done cooking. So when you actually look into Bing...
Oh my God, dude. That is such a basic prompt. Generate me an electric Pokemon. And here you have Jolteon. Like here's some sort of Jolteon Flareon mix. This is just like a God knows what the fuck. This is a completely new Pokemon, right? I'm sure it got inspiration from Mudkip. Like you could tell it has like Nidoran ears, maybe a Squirtle head. But like this is a completely new thing. It's already an amalgamation of so many different things.
You can see that, yes, it's generated me Pikachus. It's generated what appears to be this, I guess, Squirtle Pikachu crossover. And you got like a Raichu over here. So yeah, this is like, again, an AI's interpretation of what it could consider. And somebody...
But also, that's incredible. That's a very basic prompt. The crazy thing about AI-generated assets in general is the fact that this is all based off Pokemon design. Dude, you realize how easy it is to go to Bing and say, generate me an electric Pokemon based off the styles of... And then you just list a whole bunch of different art styles, and then it'll give you a totally new thing in a totally new art style. You'll get an entirely new creation that you will not be able to figure out what it is. That is true. It's not like AI can't do that shit.
Could take this design, which I don't believe is an actual Pokemon, correct me if I'm wrong, and just turn that into a 3D model.
And also, you know, you could just pay an artist to redraw this. Most of the issues for designing 1,000 Pokemon is the fact that you have to get someone to think of the 1,000 Pokemon you want to design. But if you just AI art generate some bullshit, you'll every once in a while get something like this, which doesn't exist as a Pokemon, and this looks pretty cool. Then you just send this to an artist to basically just redraw and render as a 3D model.
And of course, fix up some of the issues that AI does with its generation. Look, there's nothing that says generative AI couldn't be used. Obviously, if it means that that's how they created like 2 or like 100 designs and then 3D modeled whatever they had. Maybe they generated 1,000 different versions of like Pokemon and just specifically like, you know, picked out the best 100 and then 3D modeled them.
Maybe.
But if we look at some of the relationships to like actual Pokemon versus what they have in the game, it's clear that they are definitely inspired very heavily.
But inspiration is not a crime. Inspiration is the only way to succeed. You are inspired by everything in your life, bro. So here's what I think that Palworld likely did. They probably used a lot of AI image generation to kind of just throw shit at the dartboard and see if anything looks good. When they did find something that looked good, they probably typed up what that design looked like and sent it to an artist to actually draw. And then they got furries to see if they get boners looking at them. And that's the holy trinity. Between the power of the AI, the artists, and the furry boners, they knew exactly what would work in the game.
By actual Pokemon designs, and in some cases, even fake Pokemon designs, which is insane. Now, look, I think it's a safe way to say that one of their biggest controversies is how much they've been inspired. And look, at the end of the day, we can talk about parodies, we can talk about inspirations, but yes, none of this game is a direct one-to-one in terms of design, and nothing is really going to get taken to court. If it was going to get taken to court, it would have already gone through, in my opinion.
Probably. Japan is very on top of suing shit when they have the legal grounds to do so. So I do believe this would have already happened, irregardless of the size, right? No one expected Palworld to be this successful, but I think that even as a less successful variant, Nintendo would have just sued them if they thought it was even remotely similar.
Considering this game and most of its like designs that are still carried into the final release were shown 2 years ago. The discussion around generative artificial intelligence is one of, I think, genuine concern. Look, there are artists that are worried heavily, 100%, about if their jobs are on the line.
Yeah.
And look, the problem with AI is not so much how it takes away the jobs, is that in order to create the AI, it scrapes tons of actual copyrighted material off of the internet and learns.
He's spitting so many facts right now. He is so right. It's not the taking jobs that's the problem. Innovation happens everywhere. Yes, horse carriage drivers lost their jobs when cars were invented. That's the world, and it sucks to be on that curve of advancement, but that's life. Okay? I'm sure a lot of radiologists that have trained so hard to read x-rays and MRIs are going to lose their jobs because they are going to get an AI that reads x-rays and MRIs better than them. Eventually, radiologists will become obsolete. That's life. That sucks. It's the unethical use of actual copyrighted art in the AI images that might have ethical issues.
Learns off of it. Now look, I'm also a realist. I get it. AI is the future, and companies are slowly perfecting these tools in order for them to actually start replacing or streamlining development of movies, television, music, and video games. It's just an unfortunate inevitability. But that being said, in a situation like this, it is an unfounded allegation.
Yes!
Because yes, even if the actual developer jerks off...
I love that this man he researched the whole thing. He went through the whole case from A to Z. God, this is why I like Muda videos.
Artificial intelligence, like the second coming, it doesn't actually mean that it's part for the course over here. Now, the other big thing that I have to ask is, where did this game kind of come from, and why is it selling millions of copies? Look, at the end of the day...
Well, obviously, because it got the best promotion in the world. Haters on Twitter. If I ever invented some sort of game or show, God, I only hope that Twitter hates it. Dude, you know why Has Been Hotel is so fucking popular? Well, it's because of all the free advertisement it gets from people that hate it on Twitter.
I understand this game is actually in a perfect storm, right? It's got a bunch of streamers who are currently talking about it. I played this game and enjoyed it. I think what really works with this is obviously it's catering to a lot of niches, like the Ark survival community, the survival game
the Pokemon community.
The Pokemon community, which
I think it's the Pokemon community, like 100%. I don't think it's the Ark survival stuff or any of that. I think it's the Pokemon community because the Pokemon community so desperately wanted exactly this, and Nintendo never ever did it. We have been waiting for a Pokemon game exactly like this for years. And it never happened because Nintendo was too comfortable making the same shit again and again and again.
It's been so neglected and so underserved to its core fan base that now anybody can take what appears to be a Unreal Engine asset flip game like Palworld and just hype it up to no end. Because at the end of the day, the community, at least on PC and consoles that aren't Nintendo, want Pokemon games. They want Pokemon with guns. They want a Pokemon game that actually has good quality attached to it.
Yeah,
and like I said,
that's what everyone's wanted forever. Pokemon in the games is so basic, you know, basic bitch, child-friendly, gloves-on entertainment. I think a wonderful example of this is the Pokemon Adventures manga, which is a fantastic manga that never ever was adapted because it's too fucking dark. There's a fight when Red fights Bruno, okay? And I say fights, not battles, because when they fought each other in the manga, they were trying to kill each other. Like, it was an actual life and death match where Bruno put Pokeballs at the end of nunchucks, okay? This was literally his plan, so that when he would go up against Red, Red would send out his Pokemon, and Bruno would use the nunchucks to extend his range. So he sends out his Pokemon behind Red's Pokemon so that it could kill Red. Do you understand what's happening here? Can you even fathom something that crazy? Like, that was what was going on in the Pokemon manga. These Pokemon were tools used for, like, actually trying to take over the world. Pokemon battles wasn't just a sport. It was everything. It was so peak. But obviously, you're never going to get a gloves-off fucking Pokemon game like that because, you know, your character's always safe just battling from the background. Everyone wanted a survival world where these Pokemon could actually kill the trainer. And that's what Palworld is. Palworld is exactly what every Pokemon fan genuinely wanted.
I said in my video a day ago, I really do think this game, at least from a quality perspective, feels better than whatever Game Freak has pooped out.
Shit, bro.
But ultimately, that also being said, it's a game that is shipped day one, even in early access, to be relatively bug-free. And I think that...
How crazy is that? How is Palworld bug-free and Pokemon Scarlet was just a miasma of glitches?
Really speaks for how fucked the industry is, when for us, a barometer of what is a good, enjoyable game is if it just works out of the box. Does it hit 60 frames a second? Does it run relatively well? Are the bugs kept to a minimum? That's our barometer for success. And honestly, in some ways, that's pretty sad to think about. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to look into the various controversies of Palworld. It's a game that, despite its popularity, has been marred in so much controversy that literally everyone I talk to either sucks this game off or hates it because of the allegations of artificial intelligence. And
wait, you spoke to people that actually hate it?
Ultimately,
or you just the Twitter people? And it's like, okay, all right, mindless Twitter brain rot. Let them hate. Let them hate.
At the end of the day, I'm going to leave you with the real intelligence to decide what's really the matter of the fact.
Dude knows how to be. This guy is so good at being a YouTuber. That was so smooth, bro. Did you see how he just smoothly went into the "I'll leave you to decide"? That's crazy.
I've looked through all of the facts. I've come to my own conclusions. Let me know what yours are.
And let me know what yours are. I won't read your comment. No, that's actually a lie. I do read your comments. I just don't care about your opinions. You see, I'm not like the other YouTubers. The other YouTubers, they care about their community's opinions, but they don't read the comments. I read all the comments. I just don't care about your opinions. If you could change my mind, that would be awesome, but realistically, you probably won't. Listen, I hate to be dishonest. I hate to be dishonest. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with this. Also, I'm not gonna believe unsubstantiated allegations of AI art just because the guy likes AI, just simply because I don't believe that that's how allegations should work. I'm a very big proponent of the whole, you know, the cringe ideology of evidence is actually based, are gonna just make unsubstantiated claims against people. Well, then I have one thing to say. Leviathans